What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to No Life Metal. It's time for yet another rock metal update. That's right. Time for another rock metal update. All 12-inch vinyl. Got a mixture of things in here, mixture of styles. Got new releases, got old releases, got record store day stuff. So there's a little bit of everything in here. I'm going to get right into it. Showing the most obvious one first. This is Metallica, 72 Seasons. Of course, everybody has this. This is just a black vinyl version. I pre-ordered this on Amazon when it came out, because the nice thing about Amazon and pre-ordering there is if the price drops, you get it for the cheapest price it drops to. So that's kind of why I like doing it there. But I don't care about fancy colored vinyl all that much. Black vinyl's fine with me, so that's what I have. So what do I think of the album? Well, you can see a bazillion reviews online, whether it's on the web or on YouTube. There's just everybody seems to have an opinion about this album. Metallica definitely are one of the biggest bands in the world. Can't begrudge them of that. Some people glowing about this album, saying it's the best album of the year. I don't know about that. Other people saying it's unlistenable garbage. I don't know about that either. I'm somewhere in the middle. I kind of find it to be a decent album. I enjoyed it the 2-3 times I played it so far. My problem is I think the songs are a bit too long and they don't go anywhere. I wonder what these guys would sound like if they had like an Andy Sneap producing them, because he's done fantastic stuff for classic bands like Judas Priest and Accept, among many others. I just would imagine, you know, if you would have had them kind of trim these songs down and just make them the best they could, and maybe tweak the tempos here and there, just do what he does. Would it be better? I think it might, but you know, who am I to say? Metallica recorded this. That's what they liked, and it is what it is. And I enjoyed some of it. I think the opening track, 72 Seasons, is cool. I like Lux Alterna. To be honest with you, most of it, even after listening to it 3 times, I can't remember much about it. Lux Alterna was one of the standout tracks in my opinion. But yeah, it's okay. It's Metallica. I mean, if you like the last couple albums from them, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this one. If you're not into those albums and you're more into the early, you know, early stuff, first 3 or 4 albums, and probably not for you. But I found it to be okay. On the exact same day, Scorched by Overkill was released. And if you put a head-to-head to me, Overkill wins. This album, blistering great. Now, granted, I am an Overkill fanatic, and I have been for decades, but I was also a Metallica fan for decades. I mean, I bought Kill 'Em All as a new release, so, I mean, I was a huge Metallica fan for years. I just don't like the direction they took here and there, you know? Whereas Overkill really have never disappointed me, and Scorched is no different. This album is exactly what you want to hear from them. Balls to the wall, you know, New York City speed metal, thrash metal with Bobby Blitz's punk delivery, you know, that snotty punk delivery he has, and that grinding bass, Dee Verney. It's just what you want to hear from them. Great guitar solos, fast songs. You know, there's some more mid-tempo songs on here, and you know, they've even done doom stuff in the past. So there's not sometimes they even have like a punk song on, you know, that they do, or a punk influenced song. Didn't really hear one of those on here, but anyhow, great album all the way through. Enjoyed the whole thing. Again, much like the Metallica, I played this thing 3 times already. I liked the whole. I really wasn't, you know, picking out songs that I liked and didn't like. So I just found it as a good listen all the way through from beginning to end. Also, a new release, the new Angel, Once Upon a Time. Now, totally different style, obviously, than Metallica or Overkill. This is more melodic, slightly progressive. Back in the 70s, we called this pump rock, and now what they call it now, I don't know, glam rock, whatever you want to call it. It's just, you know, hard rock. But I enjoyed it. You know, these guys are still cranking. It's only 2 original members in here. You got Punky Meadows and Frank Domino. Frank has not lost an ounce of his voice. He still sounds fantastic. Songs are catchy. Again, new release, so I've only heard it a few times, but from what I've heard, I really enjoyed it. It's Alright is a great song. Black Moon Rising is a great song. I find the title song of track 4 hilarious because it's like a sentence. Once upon a time, an angel and a devil fell in love, and it did not end well. That's the title of the track. It's a long. I don't know. I probably would have called Angel and the Devil to shorten it up, but anyhow, it's a good album, and got a bunch of younger guys in the band giving him some oomph. But good album, great production, killer packaging, gatefold with a great picture of the band on the inside. Let me show you that. I'm going to run out of time because I've got a lot to show, and so I don't want to spend too much time on one particular album. Gatefold. It's on a clear vinyl. Again, I don't care that much about colors of vinyl. I mean, if there's black available, I'll usually go for the black. But oddly enough, black seems to be the color you can't find these days, and everything's colored. But yeah, if I can get this back in the sleeve, that'd be great. All right, Angel, Once Upon a Time, brand new release. Another brand new release. This one just came out as well. This is More Inspiration from Saxon. This is another covers album from them. They released a cover album in 2020. This is their second cover album. I don't know if it was recorded at the same time or not, but we got to get out of this place. We got to get out of this place. Do a great cover of that. Faith Healer, From the Inside, Chevrolet, which of course is ZZ Top. Substitute, The Who, Gypsy, Jimi Hendrix, Man on the Silver Mountain, of course, Rainbow, Ronnie James Dio, Detroit Rock City, Kiss, Razamanaz, Nazareth, Tales of Brave Ulysses, Cream. So yeah, it's a good set. Really enjoyed it. I like the last one. I like this one. I'm just a fan of tribute albums like this. I mean, my favorite bands covering my other favorite bands. I just always find that appealing, and I have for years and decades. A lot of people are not into that kind of stuff, but I think it's fantastic. And Saxon does a great job. Of course, there's some that are better others, but you know, that's the case with any tribute album or any album for that matter. Some songs are better than others. So Saxon, More Inspiration. And then one more, I think this is my, well, nope, two more new releases. Brand new Angerot. This is the Profound Recreant. And I know I showed this on the Metal Roundtable channel, but this is the first time I'm showing it here. I believe this is their fourth or fifth album, man. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. Anyhow, great, kind of melodic at times, but definitely heavy, brutal death metal. I mean, you know, when I say melodic, don't think, you know, like mellow. It's not mellow. It's heavy, but it's got melody to it. It's got hooks to it, memorability, great guitar work. They're just great band. And this is I think the third album in a row that I've gotten as a new release, and I get them and I can't stop listening to them. So I need to get this one on CD too. If I had the cash to buy everything on CD and vinyl, I would. But anyhow, I got the vinyl for now. I'll get the CD eventually. This too is a new release, but it's actually a bit late. This came out in 2022, and I just didn't know it came out. But this is the new After All. Belgian band. This is, from what I understand, I don't know the exact date this came out. I looked it up online when I first got it, and it was towards the end of 2022. Somehow I missed out on it, but After All, EOS, speed metal, clean, high-soaring vocals, you know, fast-paced tracks, pushing towards the boundaries of thrash metal, staying more in the speed metal range. When I say speed metal, I'm talking like, you know, Agent Steel, Power Mad, you know, Deliverance, that kind of stuff, where it's fast and heavy and thrashy, but it's also got very clean vocals, and the songs are, you know, very melodic. So I've liked pretty much everything these guys have put out. They've been around since, I think, the late 80s, and they've got, gosh, they've got to have 10, 12 albums out now, and I think I have them all. Not to mention, you know, 10-inch EPs and EPs and singles and 7-inch singles and demos. They've got a ton of stuff out. Definitely a band worth checking out if you've never heard After All. Killer band. All right, getting into the record store day stuff now. Yeah, let's get into the record store day stuff. This is not all the record store day stuff. I didn't go to record store day. There's not really one nearby me. Unfortunately, I have to rely on friends and sending them money to pick up stuff for me. But thankfully, I have friends that will do that for me. This first one was my number one want because I'm a fanatic of this guy. This is Ted Nugent. This is the Free for All from the Vault, Nuge Vault, studio outtakes, alternatives, and rarities. Exclusive to Record Store Day, from what I understand. I don't know if it's sold out or not, but this band's got a wicked glare on it. Nothing I can do about it. But it is, apparently, the Ted Nugent family cleaned out his studio in Detroit, and they found all these master tapes and went through and got the music off them and found out it's all these different, you know, practice jams and pre-production versions and rough mixes and mixes of songs that have, you know, scratch vocals on it. Just all this kind of cool historical stuff that, you know, hardcore fans are going to be into. Now, if you're just a casual Nugent fan and, you know, you did kind of Free for All, Cat Scratch Fever, and Stormtrooping, that's kind of your thing, you're okay with the greatest hits, not going to be something for you. But if you're a Nugent fanatic like me, if you love the history of the music and you love to hear that kind of early mixes and all that kind of stuff, this thing is fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And this is my buddy Jeff McCormick hooked me up with this one. He actually texted me from Record Store Day really early in the morning. I was still in bed because he's like 2 hours or 3 hours ahead of me. So he's like, "You need this?" And I got back to him like 2 or 3 hours later. I'm like, "Yes, please get it for me." He had already left the store. Thankfully, he knew enough and bought it for me. So, because nobody else could find it. I had several people out there looking for it, but he's the only one that found a copy for me. This is the Best of Death. Fate. This is a re-release of an old album that has been out of print for a long time. It is remastered, and wow, I don't know the dude who remastered this. Remastered by Brad Boatwright at Audio Siege. Fantastic job on this. I mean, I have the original CD of this and a cassette version of this, and this vinyl version sounds better than both. And it's very rare for a vinyl to sound better, that much better than a CD. But in this case, I think it does. Also, my buddy Steve has an original vinyl pressing, and he says it's far better than the original vinyl pressing. So, very cool. It's a really nice package on this one. I guess I could pull it out real quick. Basically, it's on a uncoated stock, so you can see it's very flat. That's why it's not getting any glare. But you are seeing the glare in the logo and the titles. So you get Fate down here, the Best of Death, which is a red foil stamp. What a fantastic job that is. Really nice. Glad to have this. Love this band. Have since I was in college back in the 80s. My roommate John Cotter, what's up John if you're watching, kind of got me into these guys back then. I remember listening to bands like, this is back in 87, 88, 89. Him and I listening to stuff like this, Death and Possessed and Napalm Death and stuff like that. And I remember making a comment at one point. I think we were listening to Napalm Death Scum. And I said, man, if music gets any faster, it's just going to be one continuous tone. But anyhow, I still find that funny to this day because, yeah, it was that. We thought that was fast. Things just kept getting faster and heavier and crazier. So, all right, this is one of the sought after ones on Record Store Day. This is Eric Carr's Rockology, which I've had a CD copy of this for decades, but this vinyl copy is cool because, well, first of all, it's got the artist who did the original solo albums, and he also did the Eric Carr image on here. It's got a nice obi strip. It's got a poster in it that looks similar to the posters from the 1978 solo albums, and it's got a bunch of demo tracks that weren't on the original CD too. So it's got Tiara, long demo, Can You Feel It, alternative version, Eyes of Love, acapella, Obladi, Oblada, and Stranger, all tracks that weren't on the original release. So, yeah, very cool. I haven't even opened this one yet, but glad to have it. Bill Bafford from Rocks Records and his wife Carrie, thank you very much. Picked this up for me because again, I just couldn't get to it. So I'm glad I could get all those. So that's pretty much most of the Record Store Day stuff I picked up. I have other Record Store Day stuff. I have stuff I worked on that I'm not showing here. Macho Man Randy Savage, In This Moment, John Alfonte, the Kansas vocalist. I worked on those, so I have those. I'll show those on another video. And I also have some live stuff. I picked up the Motorhead live and the Dio live, but I'll show those in another video when I usually do the live stuff in a separate video. So, and I got a lot of stuff to show here, so let's keep going. A newer Pat Travers album, School of Hard Knocks. This is straightforward Canadian hard rock, just what you would expect from Pat Travers. I mean, he did get into some bluesy stuff here and there, but this is more just straightforward hard rock. He's got the original, he's got Mick Crawling on bass, he's got Jerry Riggs on rhythm guitar and vocals, and Scott Zamansky on drums. And it's mostly original material that he does a cover of, obviously enough, Chevrolet, ZZ Top, which also was on that Saxon album. So really cool album from Pat Travers, and it's got several new albums that I missed out on in the last few years. This one is what? Let's see if I can find a year on here, like 2019 or 2018. I don't know. No, actually, it looks like 1990. It's got a copyright year of 1990 on here, and then a 2009 copyright as well. I thought this was a 2019 release, but I could be wrong. Now I gotta have to look it up. But yeah, good stuff. Pat Travers. This one as well. Now this one here I picked up really cheap. And I've seen this one around a bazillion times at record shows, record stores, and this is the Best of Pat Travers, Boom Boom, and it's again a best of. I'm not really hugely into best of albums. I'm more into actual full length albums, but I'm a huge Pat Travers fan, and this thing is near mint. I mean, the only thing wrong with it is there's a small cutout up in the top here. It's, you can kind of see that cut because I believe it was a promo copy. But there's no gold stamp or anything on there, so maybe it was just a cutout. Who knows? But the record, the cover, everything is like, looks like it just been opened, like it had never been taken out of the plastic. Has the original insert in it, which you can see sitting there in the back, and the vinyl is mint. So very cool. It's got Rock and Roll Susie, Snorting Whiskey, New Age Music, Stevie, Go All Night, London, Life in London, I'd Rather Be, let's see here, I'd Rather See You, Killer, and Boom Boom, Out Goes the Lights. So there you go, best of Fat Travers. What year just come out? It had to be here. 85? Yeah, 85. Alright, this is the reissue. I do have an original. It's just, unfortunately, I purchased the reissue. Actually, a friend gave me the reissue. Let me try that again. This one is a reissue. A friend gave me an original copy about 6 months to a year ago, but the post office literally cracked it in half. So I was really bummed, and I haven't been able to find a reissue since. I mean, oh my gosh, can't speak. Haven't been able to find a original copy since, so I went ahead and grabbed one of the reissues before they dry up. This is High Roller Records. But this is Canada's Slaughter, Strapato. This is, you know, thrash metal from the late 80s. I think it was late 80s. Gosh, can't remember now. But this reissue came out like 13 years ago. And they're getting more and more expensive, so like I said, I grabbed one. I'm still going to keep my eyes open for the original because I still have the cover and the inserts and everything from the other one. It's just that the record was literally cracked in half, so had to get a copy to listen to, though. So Slaughter, Strapato. This one's finally came out on vinyl again. This is Exciter's Kill to Kill. My buddy Jeffrey McCormack showed this one on his video. I'm like, oh, how'd I miss that? So I, of course, went and looked and found a copy, and I don't know if they're sold out or not, but this is on Dissonance Records. Originally released in 1982, and this was released like just, I think at the beginning of this year, or maybe the end of last year, but just a few months ago. So Kill After Kill by Exciter, another Canadian band. Lots of Canadian bands in here. So we got Slaughter, Canadian band, and Pat Travers, Canadian band. That was total coincidence. Alright, keep going. This is not Canadian band. Michael Schenker, of course, Scorpions, UFO, went solo. Came across a under $20 priced Japanese copy, and I just ain't going to leave it sitting there for that. So got the original inserts in it. Excellent condition. Michael Schenker Group, Assault Attack, a classic from the new wave of British heavy metal era of UK metal. Of course, he's German, but you know, you get the idea. That time period. Alright, Michael Schenker Group, Assault Attack, Japanese pressing. This is the single disc orange vinyl version of Jimi Hendrix BBC Sessions. I'd rather have the double one, but this was on sale for like $15 at Target. I was in there shopping with my wife, and I was like, oh, I'm going to grab it, 15 bucks, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have the CD of this, so I'm going to have to get the two vinyl set one of these days, but really, really enjoy. I'm a huge Hendrix fan. I listened to him for days. Even the crappy stuff he did when he was, you know, drunk on stage, I enjoy it. He was just such a unique guitarist, such a unique sound, such a unique character. So I love his music. So what you got on here? Hey Joe, Foxy Lady, Alex Corner introduction. Can you please crawl out of your window? Little Miss Lover, Driving South, Lover Confused, Purple Haze, Day Tripper, Spanish Castle Jammin', I Was Made to Love Her, Introducing the Experience, and The Burning of the Midnight Lamp. There's an old comp that I kind of was, and I'm still actually in this mood and looking for their stuff, but really into Glass Harp as of recently, which of course was a late 60s, early 70s band featuring Phil Keaggy, who went on to a very successful solo career. But really like Glass Harp. They're kind of a prog band from the late 60s, early 70s. And they're on here, as you can see, Glass Harp. What convinced me to really buy this, and I believe this was a radio promo, but what was Wishbone Ass on here, and also Peter Criss's Chelsea is on here as well. So kind of cool. This thing is from 1970, I believe. I'm looking for the year. No year. I believe it was 1970 this thing came out. Could have been 71. But right around 1970, 71. And really cool listen. Lots of cool hard rock stuff. You can kind of hear the early leanings towards what became 70s heavy metal in here too. Good stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of this. Help, Raw, American Eagle, Wishbone Ass, Chelsea, Glass Heart, Melissa, Vico Fox, Jeremiah, and Matthew's Southern Comfort. Excuse me, itchy nose. Alright, went to a record show in Albuquerque. Didn't find a ton of stuff there that I was looking for. I mostly found 7-inch singles. But I did find a few things, this being one of them. Just an Aerosmith promo single that I didn't have. I have the several promo singles from this album, but I didn't have to let the music be the talking one. I mean, it's pretty simple picture sleeve. There's nothing much to it. No back at all. It's just black vinyl with a generic Geffen Records, center label. But still, Aerosmith, anything. I'm looking for it. The same one here. This is Italian split. I guess you call it split EP. It's full length, but each side has 5 songs from each of the bands. So you've got Sweet Emotion, Lord of the Thighs, Come Together, Walk This Way, Last Child from Aerosmith. And then you've got Don't Fear the Reaper, Are You Ready to Rock, The Red and the Black, Hot Rails to Hell, and Born to Be Wild from Blue Oyster Cult. So this is also released in Japan as a promotional single that has New York's heavy metal sound on it or something like that. That was my grail. This was cool too because I've never owned this one either. But that's the one I had to have. So you can kind of see the front and back cover there. Nothing special inside of it. Just I don't know if it was something they sold cheap there, or if it was just promo. There are no barcodes or anything on this thing, so I can only assume it was a promo thing. But again, anything Aerosmith or Blue Oyster Cult for that matter are welcome in my collection. And I got a few thrash metal albums here. Let's get into those next. Actually, let's get into this one. I kind of skipped over this one by accident. This is Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love. This is a new player copy. I've got an original copy of this that I've had for decades, but it skips. It doesn't actually say skips. It pops. It's got. I've had it for a long time. Let's just say that it's old. It's probably from the '60s. But this was Amazon had a sale on these. It was $12.99 or $11.99, something really cheap. So I was like, yep, buy me a copy of that. So I did. So Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love. Another, like I just said earlier when I showed the other Hendrix album, just love Jimi Hendrix, so very cool. All right, now we're going to get into some thrash metal. Next up, Violent Demonstration. This is the Devastation demos from 1988, 1986. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tracks. Demos from the 80s from Texas thrash band Devastation. Hard to pick a favorite, even a favorite Texas thrash band for that matter. Gamicide comes to mind immediately as one of my favorites from Texas, but Devastation, right up there, man. Great band and very cool to have. It's got a nice little booklet inside of it. It's got it's a gatefold. I say nice little booklet. I'm glad they included stuff like this. But the graphics are kind of simplistic and I don't want to say, I don't know what the word is. I'm a graphic designer. I would have laid it out a little differently. Let's put it that way. I would have laid it out so these lyrics, you could actually read them without turning everything and just things like that. It's just simple things. But it's very cool that they included something like this. Flyers and pictures of the band and whatnot. And then, as well, it is a gatefold. And let me show you the gatefold, the double album set. I think it's available on black vinyl, red vinyl, and splatter vinyl. Mine's red. I think there's also a box set available that comes with a t-shirt. And there's a cassette version, a double cassette version as well, which I made a trade for, so I have that coming in the mail. But I didn't buy the box set. I'm perfectly happy with my 2 LP gatefold set right here. Devastation, Violent Demonstration. I didn't even know this album existed. I don't know how it passed by me. I love this band, love their first 2 albums. Their latest album came out like a year or so ago, which I think was great, and I thought it was a great comeback album. I did a favorite thrash comeback albums video not too long ago, and this is one of the bands I was going to include until I realized the album I wanted to include wasn't their comeback album because there was this one that came before it. Toxic, Kinetic Closure. Wow, how did I miss that? This came out 2018, but the vinyl pressing just came out, so it was only available on CD before. 2023, you can get these very inexpensively right now, so if you're a fan of Toxic, get it now before they disappear. I got this one for under $20, and it was brand new, and it's fantastic. If you like Toxic, you like their latest comeback album, you like their first 2 albums, you're going to like this one. It's right up that same, speed metal alley with those high soaring clean vocals. Again, not unlike Agent Steel or After All. So there you go. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. This is a 10-inch vinyl. Could have showed this in my singles, but it's more of an EP. This was released in 1980, or recorded in 1986, 81. I think it says 81. Anyhow, this is Eric Bell band. So after Eric Bell had left, Thin Lizzy in the 70s, he continued to play and record, and this is something he recorded back in apparently 81. Yeah. So if you look at the corner right here, it's got the recording date on there. I think that says, it's handwritten. Pretty sure it says 81. But if you like that power trio sound of the early Thin Lizzy stuff, this stuff isn't too far off. It's really good stuff. Really big fan of Eric Bell, and I'm glad to put this thing out. The Eric Bell Band, Lonely Man. Eric Bell, founding member of Thin Lizzy, tracks from the original master tapes. 4-track EP. Picked it up on eBay, which actually came directly from the record company. Again, glad to have it. If you're a Thin Lizzy fan, this should be on your list to get. Eric Bell Band. I don't know if there's a name to this thing. Lonely Man. I guess it is called Lonely Man. So, names of the tracks: Lonely Man, Vampire Lady, Anybody Seen My Baby, and Deep End. Alright. Blood of the Sun. Another Texas band. These guys are kind of retro rock. Some people call them stoner rock, but I mean, this is just old school 70s hard rock, 70s heavy metal, whatever you want to call it. Really good stuff. And this is the one I was missing in my collection from them. And we were on the Metal Roundtable. We're talking about this band and the different releases. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have that one yet. And I'm like, why don't I have it? So I'm like, let me look online, see how much it is. If it's not too expensive, I'm going to grab it. Another one, under $20, like $17, $16.99 I think I paid. Brand new copy. Now, it is pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to it. Front cover, back cover. There's no inserts, just a simple paper sleeve. What's kind of annoying is you'll notice the tracks listed here, no track numbers, no side A, side B, no track times. So kind of just tells you what the tracks are and you don't know what side A and side B is. If you actually open up the vinyl itself, I find this to be annoying. You know what I want? I don't care if there's nothing else on the center label but a big A and B on the other side. This is the label. Rain Ticket Records, In Blood We Rock. That's it. No side A, no side B, no track listing. So what is side A, side B? Really hard to tell. So you go to put it on, and you can't even tell by. Sometimes you can tell okay, go here. There's 4 tracks on this side, 3 tracks on that side. You can't tell that either because there's no side A and side B here. So it's very difficult to tell what side A and side B is. To me, that's just unprofessional. And I assume this is probably an independent release, but regardless, that's just my little complaint about it. But what's more important is the music, and the music is great. Not sure which is my favorite Blood of the Sun album, but I need to adjust this one a little more just to figure that out. But pretty much like all their stuff, but really good, straightforward, retro hard rock. This one finally got reissued on vinyl, 1916, Motorhead. Glad to have it. My Motorhead collection probably takes up 3 cubes on my shelf alone because I love Motorhead. Have since I was in high school in the 80s. This one has just been hard to find on vinyl, and the prices were ridiculous, and I just wasn't willing to pay it, especially since I've had the CD since it came out. So now that it's finally back on vinyl for the first time in over a decade, I have a copy in my collection. It's actually got, it was originally released on Epic Records, but it looks like Century Media might have put this thing out because it's got Epic and Century Media on the back of it. Very cool. Love Motorhead. Sounds great. I don't think it was remastered, but it sounds good. So, 2 more. This is the Reverend Gathering of Demons EP. Really wish I could have been involved in the artwork on this one because the cover art, which is, it just, I would have brought it out some. Matter of fact, you can get their T-shirts. The company that does their T-shirts contacted me and asked me if I could help fix it, which I did, and I brought all this detail out that's just lost in here. But instead of bringing that out, whoever did the artwork on this just threw some fake flames on the bottom to make it different. I don't know. Reverend logo came out nice, but yeah, the artwork is leaves a bit to desired. Back cover's got a nice picture of the band, David Wayne and the guys. This is basically a odds and sods release, even though it was released as an EP called A Gathering of Demons back in the day. Then on Vinyl Dead. Side A is the actual EP, so you get Massacre of the Innocent, Dawn, Stealing My Mind, and Legion. And Legion is actually a song that Metal Church recorded first, but the song was written by David Wayne when he was in Metal Church, but then when they kicked him out of the band, and he went and formed Reverend with the Heretic guys, Metal Church recorded the song, but he finally went back and recorded the original version of the song with the lyrics that he had written for it. That's Legion. But in any case, side B has got Lights Out, which is the UFO cover that the band did for a UFO tribute album. Then it's got 2 live tracks, Legion Live and Start the Fire Live. Interesting part about the Legion Live is he kind of talks a little bit of smack about Metal Church in the beginning, and talks about the song and how he wrote the song and how they had the cojones to record his song even though he kicked him out of the band. So kind of interesting. Start the Fire, which is a Metal Church song, and then there's some outtake studio versions of stuff at the end. So kind of an odds and sods EP. There was a CD reissue of this as well. Unfortunately, rather than just remastering it, they remixed it on the CD and this. And for me, neither remixes sound as good as the original. I know the original wasn't great. I mean, it was an independent release. There was no producer or anything, but and maybe it's just because I'm used to hearing it that way. These remixes, though, just seem to bury the guitars, and they're just muddy. But, again, that's me being picky. It's still cool to have this EP on vinyl. So grab them before they dry up, because this just came out. It looks like there's 444 copies pressed, none of the vinyl dead. And finally, another EP. But this is the vinyl reissue of One for the Road from Trouble. So this EP was originally a CD that the band put out themselves of non-album tracks that they sold on tour back, I believe it was in the 90s or so. And then, that thing floated around on this bootlegs for years. I actually have a CD bootleg of it. In recent years, it's been reissued on CD with bonus tracks, and then it's on vinyl with the original track listing, which is what I have here. This is on Hammerheart Records. The collectible 1994, it was right, EP for the first time on vinyl, remastered for the best audio experience. And man, it does sound good. If you like classic Trouble, Eric Wagner Trouble, this is great. It is something you need in your collection. It's really awesome. So there you go. That's my vinyl update for, what are we in, April of 2023. Appreciate y'all watching. Please leave a comment below. I always like talking to you, and I screw things up and people let me know, and people tell me about things I don't know about. So I appreciate all that stuff. Any conversation is cool. I love talking metal. So that's it. God bless. Stay strong.